Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the AUSNZ Community Podcast. This is episode 35, and we have a couple of little things we're going to release at the end about the future of the podcast. So stay tuned. We're going to chat a little bit about that at the end. As always, we have the fabulous Pete with the amazing beard, and we have JR, Jack Rabbit, as well. Welcome, both of yous. JR, how have you been?
I'm doing a little better now, but in the past few weeks I have this annoying colds and I've been sneezing and all that, but it's hard to get rid of, but I'm trying. So I made it here today in the recording. I'm looking forward to our guest on this episode. It looks like it's going to be a fun episode. What about you?
Definitely.
Yeah, what about you, Pete? What's been going on?
Yeah, pretty much more of the same as every other week, just working and working and more working. Yeah, just about finished with school holidays, so the kids go back to school next week, so that's going to be good. Back into a routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that, not really much has changed. How about you, Eva? How have you been?
Yeah, I've been really good. The last couple of weeks have been really busy. I've got a whole lot of stuff finalised and finished for work. We've had a huge month at work, biggest on record ever. Which was bigger than last month's biggest ever on record. Now it's been going well. Had a little bit of fun this morning. I thought I'd give my car a little bit more oomph. I bought myself a set of extractors, and
Nice.
I started taking the heat shield off to have a look and start taking the manifold off and swap it over, and the car actually has extractors already. Because it's a 10th anniversary. I was expecting cast extractors, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get the cast ones off, I'll get these ones on. It's not going to make a big difference, but it'll just And then I've taken the heat shield off, which is original equipment, and under the heat shield is this beautiful set of tube extractors, and I'm like, well, I'm not taking that off.
Yeah,
So
right.
so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty stoked. So I put the heat shield back on and went out and had a massage instead.
That's not a bad trade-off.
Yeah, not a bad trade-off. Nice massage, foot massage. It was great.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this episode. So I'll do my little bit. I was going to talk about two things. The first one being the very, very quietly underachieved birthday of the AUSNZ community. It started on the 3rd of July in 2020 because 3 years ago on the 3rd of July, You Can't Beat Me, Zeke, Creepers, Muzz, Maury, Dreddy, Nubus, and Goose all joined the server on the same day. So we could probably say that's the day of inception. There's a couple other people that have no longer with the server, so we don't have their names. And then about 2 days later, or 3 days later, on the 6th of July, Emperor Bill, Catchem, BG, the Chad, AUSNZ Dio, and two people by the name of AUSNZ Pete and Eva both joined the server. So that was 3 days later. So we've both
I know those
passed
guys.
I know those guys. So yeah, I think I know those guys too.
Yeah.
So
I've met them both in real person.
In real person, yeah. So, you've met yourself.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say it's been a wild ride. 3 years in the server, 3 years on the teams, 3 years amongst all of you amazing people. And I'm saying that as the community, not just the people I've mentioned, because those guys were the ones that instigated and started this moving, and getting it to where it is. Big shout out to Maury, big shout out to Goose.
Especially a big shout out to Maury for building the server the way it is.
Yep.
His knowledge of Discord back then was amazing. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. So
Yep.
yeah. Big shout out to Maury.
Between Mars and You Can't Beat Me. I mean, You Can't Beat Me is the guy who recruited me back then. Zeke, lots of love to Zeke, lots of love to Creepers, lots of love to Nubis. All of that sort of stuff. It's just, BG, Emperor Bill, they've been around for yonks. They're still here, and they're still a part of the community, and they make it what it is. So congratulations on 3 years. It's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. I think the highlight was, 24th in the world before auto matchmaking. That was the highest we ever got in CC. And lots of other things, all the teams, all the collaboration, all of that sort of stuff. It's a big pat on the back to everybody. So thanks very much for creating the server. Maury, thanks very much for allowing us to start this podcast and become part of the community even further. So yeah, and the other thing I wanted to talk about was something that I spoke to Maury about only a couple of weeks ago. I was on, I'm on OnlyFans, as you know. Shout out to Minstrel. And there was a discussion in their server about automating score taking off team events, and not having to manually type in all the scores for team end scoring and understanding all that. And one of their players was contemplating writing a script and everything else. And I reached out to Maury and said, "Hey, Maury, does our mate Brobot do this already?"
You bet you I do.
Way to go, mate.
Yeah, I know. Way to go. I said, "Oh, do you share that? What do you do?" And he said, invite one of their players or a couple of their players to the server, to the AUSNZ server, and we'll give them access to the bot, to Mate Brobot, and they can do it themselves. So big kudos to Maury for sharing his vast knowledge, and it was great to be able to go back to someone and say, "Hey, by the way, join our community, and don't worry about having to manually type anything ever again. We've got a bot that does it for you." So really good. So that's not really an open invite for everybody, but it is pretty much. So I asked Maury specifically before I said I could say that on the podcast. So he's basically said, if you want to join and you've got team things, you can automatically remove, or you can remove the screenshots once you're done, so that way no one knows the team scores and all that sort of stuff. It's all done automated, and the team scores aren't sent to anybody but yourself. So works really well. And yeah, it's just dump screenshots, run the bot, and it does everything for you. So very cool.
It sends you a past file.
Yep.
So does everything for you, and you don't have to type anything. Does it all for you.
Yep.
It's really clever.
Yeah, really clever and really cool. Like really cool.
Yep.
So big ups to Maury and
and Mate Bro.
come to this, and Mate Brobot as well. So well done. Alrighty. Pete, do you want to go first, or JR?
So, for this episode, I would like to talk about gems. Of course,
Like
gems
yourself,
is a
you're a bit of a
very
gem.
oh wow, thank you for saying that. I'm blushing even if I don't blush. So
Oh jeez.
okay. Wait, hold on. Let me breathe first. Okay.
Don't die while you're blushing. It'll look bad.
For this episode, I'm going to talk about gems, and gems is of course very important part of the game as much as the coins. Okay, so how do we get gems from the game? There's so many ways, right? So there's from the blue chest from the adventure, and then from the road to legendary. If you finish the road to legendary, even if you don't have a premium pass or VIP, just play it and you could acquire gems. And from the red daily chest, you could get gems. Of course, from the team event and the public event rewards, and from the blue chest in the shops. And if you are a VIP subscriber, you could also have gems. And also from the free gifts, like if there's a holiday, just like the 4th of July, if you already have the character and the accessories to the character, they will all convert to gems, right? In exchange for those. So what I'm thinking of, how could we use gems? Because for me, I've been playing for nearly 3 years and I have 24,000 gems. I don't know
Wow.
I don't know where to spend it. I don't know where to use it. Okay, so for this episode, I'm thinking what could be a new update or part in the game where we could spend gems. As of the moment, we could spend gems in buying coins. So those coins you could use for upgrades. You could spend gems for buying chests where you could find parts for a new vehicle, for if there's a new vehicle released and all that. But what else, right? What else could we
The
spend
public
gems
event
on?
refill your tickets.
Yeah, you could spend,
Yeah.
but Pete, 24,000 gems. I
I have
can't bring that.
I have a
I
I
cannot.
have a bigger
Sorry.
question. I have
Yeah.
a bigger question. How did you
Okay.
get to 24,000 gems? Because when you were
Mm-hmm.
playing all those cups,
Mm-hmm.
were you not opening the chests with gems?
Not religiously.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. When I was playing cups and I was still in Minstrel's team, right? She was
Yep.
coaching me on because at that time I was already on VIP, and of course my gems were not that much yet, right? So
Yep.
when
Yep.
I acquired for several months gems from playing the road to legendary, she coached me on where to spend the gems and open the chest and all that. But up to a point, right? You could only open chest up to a certain point, because now my GP is at 10,000 GP. I don't open chest anymore using gems.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Interesting.
just I just acquired them. It just accumulates basically,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
wow, what could be the use of this gems? Because I couldn't bring it to my grave, right?
Well,
So
you know that if you do the daily cups, right,
mm-hmm,
one gem will get you 10 races, right? So that's
mm-hmm.
240,000 attempts at the daily cup.
Imagine how many kilometers you'd run that week.
But the thing is, I am not a daily.
I know.
I am not that kind of player, basically. Well, anyways, what I'm thinking of, if we could purchase skins using gems.
That'd be good.
Well, yeah, because they have skins for sale usually. They have skins for sale and animations for sale, but it's for real money. It's not for gems or coins. Yeah, it's not gems or coins. That's an
And
interesting.
just speaking of that, how cool is the new animation, the abduction one? I actually really like it.
My favorite one is the Raver.
The Raver. What's the Raver?
The Raver, you're sitting under a mirror ball and lights are going all over the place.
Ah, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, you could also purchase animation or skin for your vehicle or skin for your looks using gems. You could have that privilege for once every month, every season,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
like they do with the the half price weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
It,
through the
it
half
could have a,
through the half price weekend, you get
yeah,
really
yeah,
nice stuff. Yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
see it. I see what you're saying. You know, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's just one way, of course, to make it more fun and all that. And if we could carry over the gems and coins that you have to HCR3, that would be much better. But that's another story. So that's for
Mm.
another episode.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think that's
It's a
ever going to happen.
completely different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Same
Yeah, of
franchise,
course.
different game. It didn't happen
Yeah.
with HCR1 to HCR2, so I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
happen this
Okay.
time.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's about it.
No, no, no,
Nice.
no,
uh,
no, no, no.
On to you, Pete, for your Pete's Power public events. Did I say that
Yes,
correct?
you nailed it.
No,
Spot
I
on.
think you almost nailed it. I think you
You
almost
almost
nailed
nailed
it.
it. Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yes,
What
so
have I started?
I'm going to start off with the last match of last season with AUSNZ 2 versus AUSNZ LTR.
Mm.
We were planning to match each other for most of the season, but we just kept missing each other and we sort of gave up. So LTR was left spinning for about 45 minutes to an hour one time, and they just got too far away from us.
Uh-huh.
And then on the last one, we were spinning, and they actually managed to match us by chance.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really really good. Obviously, Team 2 won because we're a good team, and we've been in Division 1 for
Yeah.
most of our career. LTR had just been gotten into Division 1 for the past 2 seasons, I think
So
it was.
the most important question, Pete, it must be asked.
I was on Team 2. Yes, is that the question?
No. That wasn't the first question. The most important question is, did you do better than GDR?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I can't remember what the exact scores were, but I think I beat him by about 1,000 points.
Okay. So no, it was always going to be close.
Oh yeah, they put on a really good match. Like, we just had a little bit more depth in the middle. Up the top,
Yeah.
there was a few good scores up the top from LTR, which is good to see. I reckon they're going to do very well in Division 1.
Yep.
So yeah, moving on. The previous team event was called B-Force, and it was a 4-track event, which was track 1 was let me get to it, time attack with flip to get time bonus, but I wasn't using any sort of flips. I was using monster truck, just trying to go for speed. Using the setup of wings, afterburner, and coin boost.
Yep.
Yep.
That was the general
Track 2,
consensus. Yeah.
yeah, some people were using the low rider, just trying to get the jump shocks to flip them, and they were doing pretty well towards the end.
Yep.
Track 2 was a long jump, and I was using the bus with wings, not afterburner, thrusters, and fuel boost.
Oh, okay, you would have done that approach. Yeah,
Mm.
cool.
Yep. I was just reversing into the visible wall, getting rid of the roof and all the passengers, and then thrusting over the island and then landing on the downhill to pick up the fuel boost and then lift off on the ramp. Trying to conserve as much fuel as possible, let the wings do their job. But there was another strategy where people were breaking the bus in half on the hill.
I saw that.
Mm.
Yeah. that I don't know if you've ever tried to thrust with the bus broken in half.
I have, and it's painful. Yeah.
Oh, it just spins around. I don't know how they did it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that was the best, if you could pull it off, the best way to get the most distance because it was a lighter version of the bus.
Yep.
Track 3 was time attack, and it was uphill. I was using the hot rod with winter tires, coin boost, and fuel boost. From the start, I was trying to avoid floating the engine. Just pick your landing spots, and right at the end, at the top of the hill, that's when you just went full throttle and let the engine explode. It sort of jumped you over that little dip, and it was good. Track 4 was the worst track of them all. It was a multi-jump track, with the one with all the little divots.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
divots one.
Yeah, I hate that track. I've never done it. Even with a good kangaroo vehicle, I could never get it right. I was using muscle car with Kanga and only getting, on average, 1,500 points.
Oh, really?
Terrible.
I
Terrible.
did a couple of close my eyes and hope the best, and got
Yeah.
5K.
Oh,
And
nice.
I was like, how did I do that? Okay, let's try that again. Nah, failed from there on.
No,
So,
because you didn't close your eyes.
and that was the thing. I using my my usual tactic. Don't go into round 4 and do a try without a good score.
Hmm.
So yeah, basically I would go into T4 with a reasonable score, and if I got a 5K, I got 5K.
Excellent. The worst bit about that is if you got one single bad landing, you couldn't recover.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that track, but that's okay. You get
Yeah.
that sometimes. The current team event is called Van Phalen, which
Yeah,
it's a homage to Van Halen, the metal, not metal, rock band. Um,
yep.
this one is a 5-track event, and they're all time attack. Uh, you've got several vehicles, and I'm not going to name them all because there's a few there. But I can give you the practice tracks. So track 1 is Canyon Grand Prix Special Stage 2. Track 2 is I Hate Water, Reef Grief. Track 3 is Mountain Bridges, Living on the Edge. Track 4 is Magnetic Circuit, Magnet Madness. And track 5 is Rocky Road Cup, Danger Ahead. Yeah, so go nuts on your practice tracks and just follow the leaderboard ghosts if you can get them right. I haven't had a good crack at it yet because I've been busy at work and all that sort of stuff, but that's okay. It only just came out yesterday, so we'll see. I might get better at it. Public events. One of the most asked for things in the Fingersoft server is having no fuel adventure tracks. So have the ability to remove the fuel cans so you can see how far you can get. And
Yeah,
that
a
is
lot of people have been asking about that.
yeah, that is exactly what they did in last week's public event. No fuel public event. And with the new update, you can send a friend challenge. So people have been sending friend challenges and just having as many tries as they want and loving it. So
Oh,
yeah,
JR, you could, if you wanted to do that, you could spend a gem on one of those. So you
you
have
can.
24,000 attempts at a
Yep.
no fuel track.
Yeah.
If only I could Kanga.
That's the thing. Trekkie, I think it was, he
Mm-hmm.
got almost 10K with no fuel on Forest.
Yeah, well, it's tricky.
Yeah, that's what.
If you said, "Oh, DeBell did the same," I'd go, "Yeah, that's DeBell."
yeah,
But
exactly
yeah,
They
right.
have
Yeah.
supernatural powers. They have
yes,
supernatural powers. I don't have
yes,
that.
no.
Maybe they
But you
are
do
actually
have,
kangaroos.
you do have 24,000 gems, so that's 24,000 times that you can try it.
You'll get pretty good at it by the end, I reckon.
I don't think so because it's been 3 years that I've been trying to attempt to get, and I failed.
Oh, I think you'd do all right. You've got Canyoneer, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're doing all right. This week's public event is a flip trick event.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
So time attack with flips. Yeah. I haven't really run that one very much because I always tend to only get 4 or 5 points because everyone else is really good at doing flips. And I just try to go fast. And it doesn't
Yeah.
always work.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll do me for all of my Pete's Powered Publics events. Shall we bring in our guest?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yes, it's time.
Right.
You can
I'll
unmute
unmute him. Yes.
So this episode's guest has been a long time waiting to come on the show. He was thrown under the bus by a player that I have in high regard, SP Jean, pronounced properly in Swedish. And Jean and this guy go way back through different teams. He's currently playing on Extreme Speed, which is a Division 3 team. He's taking a little break, but has played on North and a few other teams. Welcome to the podcast, Alice. How are you, Alice?
Thank you very much. Very excited to be here. I'm all right. A bit nervous, but
A bit nervous.
yeah, but I think it will be all right. I've seen some of the questions that was not posted in your server, so let's see what you have selected. But I'm really good.
No, good to hear. Good to hear. So tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start playing HCR2, and what was the process? Why did you start playing the game?
I think I started when HCR won back in the days, and I just found that really good for time consuming. And then when HCR2 came out, I kind of just jumped on that train and just used it when I was traveling around in different countries working. So it was good on the airplane and so on. And then when I discovered the team events, I kind of jumped into a UK team because I was based in UK by that time. So I had no idea about any other like Swedish teams or anything. So, and I had no idea what Discord was at that time. So I kind of was in that team for quite some time before I discovered a Swedish team called Sweden HCR. And I kind of just jumped into that team, and that's where my kind of story started, more or less. So I was for some time, maybe two years in Sweden HCR, maybe 3. Before the merge with Swedish Power, because we noticed that a lot of players from Sweden HCR started to jump out and join Swedish Power instead. So eventually we kind of just merged. And by that time, I jumped over to North to just see what it would be like to play in a really great top 3 team in the world. So I've been playing for North for the last year. Yeah, for the last year. And now, we just have a summer break. So I just want to take it easy now in Division 3. No, but I've been playing for North since more than a year now, and it's been great.
Yeah,
very, very good.
Awesome. Yeah. Pete, do you have a question? Do you have anything that you want to ask specifically?
specifically or pacifically?
Oh, both.
I've actually got a little hidden question that nobody else has seen yet, and it's from Jean got me to ask it for you. Let me just get there to the questions channel because I'm still in my notes. He would like to know, why don't you use the sofa in the living room?
Okay, yeah, that's kind of an inside joke in Swedish Power that's been going on for quite some time. Yeah, it's because my wife used the sofa and I'm not allowed to be in the sofa because then there is no room for her. So I always lay on the floor when we're watching TV in the evening. So I think that's the reason why. I try to get maybe a small area of the sofa, but no progress there. It's been going on for a year now. So at least I took.
How very noble of you.
Yeah, it's you have to choose your battles, and we have this small couch. One of the girls we have that's for like 1-year-olds, so I kind of use that one, and it's good enough. It's I don't
I know the
require anything
ones.
more than that. I'm just
The little foam
yeah,
fold
then
up one.
daughters.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of, as long as I'm allowed to watch the TV, I'm happy with what I get. So
Excellent. Yeah,
And you,
that's
JR,
good.
have you got any questions?
Yeah, I have a question because I think that it is really great to have guests on the podcast from different parts of the world. And um I would like to know, how many languages do you speak and what languages are those?
uh, I can start with Swedish, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
Sweden, Denmark, and Norway is very much related. So
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to communicate in our own languages between the countries. It happened something to the east, so Finland, I have no idea what they're doing, but so they're out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I speak some German since I worked in Germany for quite some time. English, of course, and I know where you're getting at. So yes, I speak some Tagalog,
Yeah.
Filipino, because
Yeah.
I worked on freight ships for a lot of years. So we had a master on board that interfered with everything we said. So I told the Filipino crew to teach me Tagalog so I can communicate with them over the radio in their language, just ship words, so to say. So I would not survive in Philippines.
Yeah.
I can say gutom na ako, which is, I think it's a good, that you're hungry. That's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
and but apart from that, we spoke Tagalog on the ship, just ship-related terms. So counting us on, but it's very interesting language, Philippine, because
Yeah.
you use so much Spanish and English
Mm-hmm.
combined,
Yes.
and all these different
Yes.
provinces have their own language. So I think that's
Yes.
mainly the languages that I kind of speak and know something about.
Yes.
I think I was expecting that question from you.
Oh,
Yes, because it's very cool for someone to be, what do you call it, bilingual or multilingual?
multilingual. Multilingual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Eva. And to encounter or to interact with someone who knows my language, which is Filipino or Tagalog. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think
yeah, most
yeah,
Filipinos are, the basic language is Tagalog, but we have native dialects, which is
mm,
Bisaya, or if you're from Mindanao, in the northern part of the country, it's a different language also. And our language is actually, we speak mostly what they call Taglish, which is Tagalog and English, because
mm,
there are some words that we adapt the English language, like cake, folder, computer. There are no specific Tagalog words for that, and we acquired the English language, so that's why we speak Taglish. And I just like, so basically with your workmates, you could, like, when they speak in their own language, you could eavesdrop on them and understand what they're trying to talk about.
You mean when I do it, or I didn't really
Yeah. When
understand the
like
last
when
one.
you're like where, for example, you're eating lunch or you're on your break and they're talking in their language, you could somehow understand.
Yeah, I don't usually kind of interfere with people if I hear them speak a certain language. I don't just
Yeah.
jump into their conversations,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
of course you run into there's more and more Filipinos in Sweden. So I know my wife, she had
Mm.
a coworker was from Philippines, so I gave my wife some good phrases to say. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
the good ones and not the bad ones. So of course you interact sometimes with persons from different countries that I could talk to, and on the ship, I think there's eventually I think they kind of regretted they teach me in the first place, because when they were sitting and eating and speaking Tagalog to each other, sometimes I understood when they talked shit about someone in the crew that was
Yep.
Swedish, and so I just needed to keep my mouth shut, let them be. Yeah, eventually I think they teach me too much, but it was good. They're good guys, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah, because when people with the same language are in a group, they could just be like by themselves and talk shit about each other and all that without like they think that the people around them don't know what they're talking about. So that's just
Yep.
it
Yeah,
makes
it
it
took way too many years before I understood why they called me Mr. Abnoy. Took way too long. That's like,
not.
to get it English, it's abnormal, but I didn't know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Abnoy was
yeah.
that. Yeah, so they
That,
called me
that's
that for way too long.
Well,
that's one good thing about Aussies. If people were trying to talk shit about other people, they just say it in English and just deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
right.
my brother-in-law, who is Australian and has spent the last 30 years in an Italian family, was who, and he could probably get by speaking to someone in Italian for a couple of words and get by more than average.
Mhm.
He was standing in line one day at a supermarket, and there was two older Italian ladies in front of him, and they were talking amongst themselves, and one of them said, "I wish this person serving us would hurry up. I'm going to piss my pants."
In
And
Italian.
in Italian, right? And Tim and my brother-in-law has just smiled at them, and the lady in this broken English Italian says to him, "You understand?" And he just smiled and nodded. And they both turned a very bright red and
Oh
dressed up
gosh.
and left very quickly. But because my brother-in-law used to do a very good impersonation of my mother whenever she'd because whenever Tim walked in the house, Mum loved him, absolutely loved him, and she would go up to him and say, "Would you like a biscuit? Would you like a biscuit?" Because she had homemade biscuits, and there was always a homemade biscuit for Tim. You know, um, so yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. You do know that I speak Swedish, Alice.
You do?
Jag kan inte prata svenska.
That's really good. It's better than many, actually. But why?
Well, it's a long story. I'll keep it short. I worked as an engineer in a company in Adelaide, and I had a Swedish engineer that I worked alongside, and he was a very studious worker. We had about 5 words between us over the first year that we worked together, and that was including dialogue for work. You know, but I'd met someone from Sweden, a guy from Sweden, who was into the car club that I was in, and I'd suggested that I would take him and 2 of his female Swedish friends along the Great Ocean Road. So, and I thought, well, there's 3 of them. They're probably going to speak Swedish amongst themselves. So I said to Eric, the engineer at work, I said, "Can you teach me this phrase?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Sure, no problem." So he taught me the phrase. And we get in the car. We're about 300 k's into the trip, So we're coming into Mount Gambier, and they'd been talking for about 100 k's in Swedish, and I waited for a quiet patch, and I just said, "Jag åker inte prata svenska," and the three of them just went, "The pronunciation's not bad. What else do you know?"
Yeah. No, that,
So
that
what-
pronunciation
what-
was really, really good.
What does it
And,
mean, Peter?
It means I don't speak Swedish.
Yeah.
So these guys had been yabbering to themselves for at least an hour, and then I've said that, and they've just gone, "Well, what else do you know?" And I said, "I just told you I don't speak Swedish. I know nothing." Right? "Oh yeah, but the pronunciation was nice." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I worked with a Swedish engineer, and he taught me how to say it." So it was just one of those things, and I've never forgotten it. It's just one of those hilarious phrases. So
Yeah, but I think
Mhm.
because you had such a good pronunciation, I would automatically think that that's not the only thing he knows.
no, exactly,
Because it was too good.
Yeah, well, Eric the engineer, Eric Lundborg, he was, and his real name was Dag, not Eric.
Yeah.
And I never understood why, because his drawings used to be signed DL, not EL. And I once asked him, I said, "Who's DL?" And he looks at me and smiles. "That's me." I'm like, "But your name's Eric." "No, my name is Dag." And he goes, I changed it when I got to Australia." And I said, "Yeah, that's a good idea."
Yeah, dag is not a
Yeah.
very pleasant
No,
word.
it's not a very nice word in Australian or in Australian slang. So yeah. Anyway, we've digressed. We've gone so off topic, but yeah, it's. I
Where
was
were
going to
we?
say, do we want to start some community questions, or was there something else you wanted to say to us, Alice?
No, I'm happy. Just
You're
fire
happy?
the questions.
Okay. I must say one thing. No carrots were harmed in the making of this show.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Sorry, it's one of the things whenever we post the episodes, we have a funny line that's part of the show as part of the title, just for shits and giggles, just for a bit of fun. And
Yeah.
I just thought that might have a bit of fun. Anyway, who wants to go first? Pete, JR, do you want me to go first, or?
I would like to go first.
All right,
I was going to
JR.
suggest maybe Alice go first.
No. JR, after you.
Okay, so my first question usually is if you have any other hobbies or interests other than playing HCR2.
All right. That's a good question. No. Yeah, of course I do. I kind of spending most of my adult life at sea. I kind of see the ocean or the boats and vessels like my big hobby, and that's what I currently work with. So that is one big part of my life. And of course, my daughters that's growing up right now. Yeah, I think they will keep growing up. Of course, they don't just stop. But playing around with them and in the garden and teach them how to ride a bike and so on. It's I think that's my main hobby at the moment because I don't have time for anything else, just work and the family. So play some football, some floorball. I don't think you guys maybe are familiar with that, but it's like ice hockey indoors with a round hollow ball. Kind of a not new sport in Sweden, but I think still new in the world.
Okay.
But that's more for exercise. So I think, yeah, ships and the family. I think that's my main hobbies and things I do outside of HCR.
Do you still make little videos for team event tips?
Yes, from time to time. I do it now in the Division 3 team because I think they are a great team, the Extreme Speeds, and they want to learn and they want to know the different tactics and small hints. So I do some recordings and how-to videos to them. But considering
I
these
think
fun videos.
I think Pete was talking about your wheelie video,
Your
the
weird
live
Yeah.
action wheelie video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the authentic ones.
Authentic.
Uh,
Yeah. Because these videos that were sent to us are different from the usual YouTuber HR2 video uploaders.
There
It's
was
the
no
real
actual
life,
gameplay involved. It was
the,
it was you.
the real life.
We'd call that
Yeah.
live action. Live action.
Yeah.
Live
Yeah,
action.
yeah.
Could
Really.
you?
And I liked how you fell backwards and did your neck like Bill does.
Yeah, it was so painful. It's I was hurt for weeks after that. It's
Oh, really?
it was terrible that fall, that first one.
Oh my god.
But that kind of that photo shoot, or what you say, it started out as a fun thing between me and the guy in Swedish Power called Wallin, where we wanted to kind of surprise the team members because we could feel like the energy in the server was kind of low at that time. So so we wanted to do something that was kind of something else, kind of fun thing to do to keep up the spirit in the server. So what we did
I'm
was
assuming-
we are.
I'm assuming it worked
Yeah.
very well because that was a very well made video, I must say.
It was very well made.
Yeah, but
Well-made
the
home
road there was
videos.
hard. Yeah, it was. It's of course me and Valin. We are kind of like Chip and Dale. We are the idiots, and of course we made a trilogy in 4 parts. That was kind of the start of. We can't do anything right, so let's screw it up directly. So, and of course we kind of posted the schedule of the release of the videos way in advance before we knew how long it's going to take. So everything was behind schedule. I think we posted the Christmas episode around New Year's, and we had this big Excel sheet where we just shared ideas between each other on like Google Docs that we could do online, and everything was. I still don't know how we pulled it off, but of course that was supposed to be the first time I met him in person. But then COVID came 2020, so I was supposed to go to his place to record it, but my wife said stop, so I was not allowed to meet him. So he's doing the Yoda part with the owl, and I'm doing the rest. We
Yes.
Oh, it's him. Yeah.
yeah.
I was
and
about to ask you if you could repeat it right now. The Yoda
No.
part.
No,
It was
he's
him.
way more masculine than I am.
I like that part.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you like that part because that's like 1% of the film. Thank you.
Yeah. You're not supposed to offend the guests.
Thank you very much. No, but it's also the Yoda part is a reference to the guy called Ugglan or Owl in Swedish. He's probably one of the best Swedish players, and he's our Yoda. Whenever we were in deep shit in the team events, he always scored amazing scores. So that's why we always try to get him back whenever he leaves the game. We talk him back.
Yeah.
So he's the Yoda. So yeah, it was a fun
Sounds
way of
like
doing
our
films.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Swiss cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, should we get back on track and ask some more questions? All right, Pete, you're up.
Yes. All right. I have a question from Xerox. Is your real name Alice? And if not, where is it inspired from, and why did you choose it?
Yeah, so I can say straight away that all guys that been texting me in DMs, I'm not a girl. I'm a guy. And yeah, so Alice is my firstborn daughter.
Oh,
She's
that's
called
really
Alice. So that's why I choose that name. But now the second daughter, Maya, starts to grow up, and she starts to get jealous that my character's name is Alice. So I for some time used AM, but now they can't stop fighting about it. So that's why I changed my name to Lapita, because that's a reference to what my father called me when I was a kid, when we were in our ship when I was younger, and he called me Lapita because that's a short for like a pain in the ass. So so that's so I get rid of the fight.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
You must be a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm very happy you finished that sentence. Yes, I'm kind of a
I
pain in the
had
ass.
to.
No. Hang on. The name is like a pain in the ass. It's not actually a pain in the ass. So he's just like one. He's not.
No. I try my best to be one, but you need to have some level of IQ to understand how much pain I am. So yeah.
Could I ask your wife?
No.
I think she agrees.
Well, I don't think so, because you don't get the couch, you don't get the sofa, you get the floor.
yeah, exactly. That's where the pain in the ass stays. Or wait, yeah, no, I shouldn't say this. Can I? No, move
Go
on.
ahead, just yeah.
It's very strange if she calls me a pain in the ass, because that can be something that can be very wrong.
Yeah, that can be.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know what it means.
Oh, jeez. Okay, next I'm going to bring this back on track.
Yeah,
I have a question from PR Les Timms. Who are some current inactive players that you want to start playing again?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because I've been playing with so many players over the years, and of course, some of the players has been closer than others, and of course, I relate to the Swedish players, and I have some players that of course, it's a shame that they left the game, and some of them still pops up sometimes in Discord, but apart from that, it's like an end of a friendship, and that's a shame. And I've written down some of them. I'm just gonna find where I put it, but it's He-Man, Diggen. It's also a Swedish player. Stingo is a Norwegian player that was amazing, and I'm still connected with him outside of HCR, but he's a player that's really missed, and of course Turtle, the leader of No Lifers, Wildlifers, and now North. I think that's some of the players that, of course, that I miss a lot playing with, and also communicate with in the game, and of course in Discord, and so those are some of the players that I feel that I miss. And luckily, none of those are players that's been banned. They just quit the game because they didn't like it anymore. So those are some of the players that I really miss kind of hanging out with online.
Yep. Did the Swedish teams have in real life meetups?
Some people do. In the Swedish Power server, we have all these different geographic locations and cities.
Yep.
And some players that live in the same area or neighborhoods, they usually meet up for after work or a beer somewhere. But not like a big event or something like that. It's just maybe 4 or 5 persons or players get together, have a beer and chat, and so on. And then we all make fun of them when they post a picture. So, but nothing more than that. We discussed it over the years, but it kind of never really happens with these big events that we want to make reality sometime. But I don't think that will ever happen. But we still discuss it. So
it's the same with us. We've got geological channels where people from the same area have their own channel and they can organise their own meetups. But the Victoria one seems to be the biggest meetups. We average around 10 players
Oh, that's good.
per meetup. Yeah.
It does help. We have Maury, who comes to the meetups as well, which he's a rock star.
Yeah.
All right.
And Goose?
Very cool, very cool. All right, JR, your question.
I have some more fun questions here. I would like to ask two of them. Just quickly, would you rather give up your phone for a month or don't shower for 2 weeks?
I kind of, if you have to, I use my phone for work,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I have to stop showering. But being a sailor, I don't see that as a problem. Because
yeah.
sometimes it's rough sea, so I would give
Yeah.
up the shower.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
Yes.
cool. Okay, next question. If your phone could talk, because we have stuff on our phone, photos, videos, and whatnots. If your phone could talk, what would it say about you?
Get help. What's wrong with you? No, I think stop treating me like trash. No, I don't know. It's I don't use
Stop breaking
the phone
me.
that much. Yeah, since I use my iPad for playing, we have a distant relationship, me and my phone. And I think we kind of like it that way. We have an agreement there that, like an open relationship, me and the phone. So, no, I think, I don't think we would talk that much, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay, who's next to ask?
Yeah, that's me. I've got a question here from Wallen. He would like to know, did you cut your beard like Conchita Wurst on purpose, or did you just get lucky?
Do you know who that is?
I have no idea, and I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Yes. Yes. The Conchita Wurst was a contender in Eurovision Song Contest.
I know who that is then.
It was some years ago, and it was I'm not sure if transvestite who just kept the beard. So it was a guy and now a lady, but he kept the beard. And the beard, I agree with what Balin, that it kind of looks like mine, but I think it comes naturally. But I think the main cause of this, or root cause for this question, is that he's just jealous. Like he looks like a hamster dyed all over his face. That's kind of his beard. So I think he's just jealous, but it comes naturally. I don't have to do anything about it. It's
so maybe he copied you.
he tried to, but he hasn't.
He tried to,
yeah.
I remember. I don't know if it happens over in Sweden, but we do something called Movember. So for November, you grow a mo, right? Well,
mustache.
I remember a mustache, yep. And then you raise money for charity, etc., etc. So there was one year I did it, and one of the guys who was part of the car club I was in, he grew one as well. And it, like you said, it looked like a hamster had died in his face. It looked like he'd trimmed the cat, stuck it to his face with really bad glue, and then most of it had fallen off while he's in the shower, right? So there's I think there was about 12 or 14 hairs on his upper lip that kind of looked like they were. And he come up to me at the end of it. He was so proud, so proud. He came up to me, he goes, "What do you think of my mo?" And I mean, I have a 5 o'clock shadow at 9:30 in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shave at 7, and at 9:30 I have a 5 o'clock shadow. It's just thick. So he comes up to me and he goes, Mike, what do you think of my mo? Does it make me look older? And I said to him, yeah, it does, maybe 2 or 3 hours older than what you are.
Yeah, but A for effort.
And he was shattered. I don't think he ever spoke to me ever again after that.
Oh.
But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We spoke a bit after that, but yeah, it was.
But it was never
terrible.
the same.
It was never the same. It was terrible. It was the most. It was the worst moustache I've ever seen in my life. Anyway.
Wait. Before we go on, I need to see a picture of you with the mustache. I need to
Me?
see it. Yeah.
I had a goatee. I will send it to you in the group chat.
I have. Yeah, please. I need to see
I
it.
will.
I won't be able to sleep tonight if I don't see it.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it's my turn, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's my turn. Okay, so I'm going to do a really big shout out to SP Jan. I met him doing daily races probably, I don't know, 12, 18 months ago when I was heavy into daily races. We had a really friendly rivalry, and that sort of rivalry in daily races builds friendships over long distances. Because, you go at it really hard, and then you have a laugh at someone because you're 0.001 faster than them, and you beat them by 0.001, and then they come back and they beat you by 0.02, and then you spend another 40 gems trying to beat them again. So a big shout out to Jean. He's now playing on CC team in the AUSNZ server, playing on our CC team sausages. And he's also sparking up some more interest in the daily cups. So big shout out to you, and thanks for asking us to ask Alice to come to this show, because it's well worth it.
Yes.
So he's asked this question. You notice I've directed the question already. It says, you rarely drive daily weekly. Do you not like that type of competition, or do you enjoy team events better?
Yeah, I'm not a time attack kind of player, because I'm terrible at it, and I don't have kind of the psychic to actually kind of keep grinding the same track over and over again to catch that 0.02 seconds.
Yep.
And it's always someone that's much better in the friends list, so I kind of just get annoyed. So I like the team events much more. I since a year or 2 years, I've only been focusing on team events and public events to get the extra tickets. But I mainly only play the team events.
Yep. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I find that really funny because most of the team events are high pressure. You've got one chance or 4 chances now with 4 tickets all at once. You got one chance at a track, and it might not be a time attack track. I know that, but there's that whole pressure, and that's the same sort of pressure you get in a daily cup, but you have less pressure because you can do multiple times. But and people who usually are very good at team events, I've always thought should be really good at daily, time attack type stuff. But it's never the case, and I just don't get it. I don't know why there's no correlation with those two. It's interesting.
Maybe
I'm not sure.
Maybe the pressure is what we would like for team event players, because I'm the same as you. I don't really play time attack or cups or anything like that, but I love playing the public event and the team event.
Very interesting. It's back to you, JR.
So I would like to ask another question from SP John, and he said you are very good at showing tips and coming up with good ideas on setups. He would like to ask, do you practice a lot, or do you have the skills in your fingers?
Well, I think I get a lot of help in the North community to see the movies they make, and I try to replicate it. And I think that I'm not nearly as good as the top 10 in North, but I think I'm in average, like in the middle of North, and I think that's good enough. And if I film my my runs, and then I make a how-to video. I think as you mentioned before, that I don't feel the pressure in the team event, so I don't get nervous when I play. So I think I play very calmly, and I think that helps a lot to kind of get good runs. If there is a time attack in one of the tracks, then I usually go half an hour before I join the team event with my tickets. I just practice that track over and over again for about half an hour, so I get it in my muscle memory, and then I just do the runs and hope for the best. And if I get a good run, I save that movie and try to make a how-to video and try to analyze my own video in slow motion and stuff like that just to help other players. But I think I'm a decent player, but I'm not an insane player. And sometimes, so I'm not sure how to answer that question really. I hope for the best, play easy and calmly, and then I just analyze my own driving, so to say.
Well, you answered that question in the first bit. You said, I am an average North player, right?
Yeah.
And being an average North player means you are better than everyone else.
I wouldn't say that. It's
No, well, hang on.
But
Sorry.
we would.
When I say
We would.
when I say better than everyone else, I mean everyone below North, and that's a lot of players, right? So to be an average North player is, I say this. It's like I have a lot of friends that used to do CrossFit, right? And people would go, "Oh, he came 40th at the CrossFit Games. You know, he's terrible." And it's like, hang on a second. To get to the top 40 in the world, to get to the CrossFit Games, you've got to be really good. You know, you can't
yeah, that's
just.
true.
So to say you're a medium North player is saying a whole lot about you. You know, you're modest, you're a great player, and obviously team events don't phase you. So, and you know, the fact that you analyze your runs and help other players just makes you a better player.
I think so, hopefully, and I kind of I like helping others players be better. I think that's the fun part of it, to get some players to get 1,000 points or 2,000 extra in a team event, and see how they kind of get better from the tips. So, and of course that I think that's as rewarding as coming on top of the list in the team event. So I think that's a fun part of the game as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. And when I said a better player, I didn't mean a better player of the game. I meant a better player for the community.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Sorry, it was what I meant, but it didn't come out the same way as what I wanted. So I wanted to make sure you got what I meant. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, sorry. It was just that was
just
a bit
quickly
of
before we move on.
Yeah.
Do you record every ticket you run, or just after a few runs, once you get the gist of it, you try and record a good one?
I think no, I don't record every run. Because sometimes I feel like I'm in a mode that every time I record it just screws up. So I stop recording for a while until I get some good runs, and then I start record again, because it feels sometimes that when I record I get that inner pressure.
Yeah, I'm the same, because I try to do the same thing as you with the AUSNZ 3 players. I try to do that, and I find that as soon as I start recording, I just fail.
Yeah,
I did that.
I don't know why.
I did that with Pete asked me about something, and I said, "Yeah, let me get to that." And I think I did 8 tickets before I actually jagged a run, and then couldn't get it to him anyway.
Yeah,
that was the CCEV on the last thing that we did.
yeah,
Second
the
last
previous
team event.
podcast.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
I meant to send that to you, and it just Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Doesn't matter. It's all good. We got there in the end.
We did. Okay, so
is it my turn?
It's your question.
Or is it?
Yeah, your question.
Alrighty. I've got a question here from I'm going to pronounce this so terribly, but Alston?
Yeah.
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 He says, we have received information about your extraordinary street cred. So please let us know, how do you maximize your street cred?
Yeah, I think that's that guy. I think it's a stupid name because no one can pronounce it. It's not even a Swedish pronunciation. It's I have no idea what him. I know his name in real life, but so it's a kind of a relation to that. But still, I have no idea why he chose that way. I don't know if it's All Station or I don't know. But anyway, yeah, street cred. That's kind of a fun story. I share a lot of my personal life in the servers. That's why they have so many personal related questions to me. And that this goes way out of HCR. And we have this whiskey and beer fair in Gothenburg every year. And I go together with my neighbors in my neighborhood, and they take this event way too serious. So each person that joined that event, we get this, when you play FIFA, you get these points from defending, attacking, and so on. And you get different scores up to 100. And they do the same, but like how good is your hair? How is your sex appeal? How is and my street cred was very low. So that's why, so I don't know how to gain my street cred because I have to gain street cred to get more points for the next year. So I think that's kind of an inside joke from Ulstein. And so I don't know if I have a good answer to that. Walk around in the neighborhood looking tough. I think that's the best way to do it. Shout at some kids,
That's always fun.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question from Mumson. He has had, or they have said, how do you see the possibility of bringing home all elite players from foreign teams so we can make an all Swedish super team?
I think that's been discussing for some years, that it would be a really fun thing to do, to just bring home because there are some great Sweden players over the teams. We have some in Supreme, we have some I'm not sure if we have anyone in DC, but we have in North, of course, and and a lot of players in Swedish Power are really, really good. So it would be very interesting to kind of bring everyone in one team, like same as Made in Italy did, to just see how far up we could go. But I think it's been discussing for so long time, and I know that some Swedish players in North say that we're gonna play the game in North until we get sick of it, and then we just quit. So I don't think it can be an all-time Swedish team with all the best players. But I think maybe it's with almost all of them. I think that's easier to do. But I think a good idea would be to just as many teams as possible over in CC, just one season, just agrees on, let's do a World Cup. Let's just make a Polish team, a Swedish team, a Finnish team, an Australian team, and just see which is the ultimate World Cup HCR
that'd be cool.
nation. Yeah, and I think that would be a way for all the teams to go together and just do that for a season or two.
Maybe
that would be very interesting.
CC Nationals.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something we could do with this. So maybe what we do is we ask Fingersoft to accumulate team points based on what flag you fly in the game.
Mhm.
And then you still play on your own team, but they give us a running cumulative total of scores by members of which country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Over the month. And then it's basically a cumulative total of all the scores.
But wouldn't that be a little bit unfair if let's say you face different opponents? Let's say North and Supreme and all this just only facing each other in top, and
No,
maybe let's say
instead of using cup points,
Yeah,
use
not the scoring
your
system. Use the points that you score.
the points that you score in your team event. So say say you have two really powerful teams that balance each other, and they get 2,000 cup points each, right? But inside those scores, there are people from lots of different nations who are in 1st to 10th place that have all scored 40 plus, and you use those scores to tally for the world championship.
Yeah.
So it's the ability of the player, not the team in total.
Yeah, that would
Right.
work. Yeah.
And then basically limit it to the just the top CC teams. So it's the top 100 teams have 50 players per team.
50 up, 50 down. Yeah.
So that's 5,000 players just in the top 100 teams across the CC division. That's a huge number. I mean, a lot of people have got alt accounts and all that sort of stuff, but still, 5,000 of the best playing against each other in a tournament, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's one way to do it without actually doing it. So to say.
Yeah. And it would be.
So Reese, if you're listening, make it happen.
Yes, please. Yes, please. And we could call it the Pete's. No, I'm not even going to go down that path.
No, the Evers Nationals.
No, we just call it the the World Series. Oh, that's terrible. The World Series. All right.
Okay, so here is a question from Pete. Thank you for this question, Pete. And he would
So welcome.
he really requested me to ask this question because I think he would like to hear me say this on air. And listen carefully, Alice. Okay, the question is: how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I would say 3 inches.
Very good. Very good.
Perfect.
You just gotta love Pete for coming up with this serious stuff.
Yeah.
After you, Pete. I don't know how you're going to top that question.
Okay, so I've got another question here from SP Jean. He wants to know, what kind of team event do you hate/love? Trailer Bastard, Darn Ball, or Kanga of Hell?
I think the kind of tracks or event modes, or what you say, it's the one that I hate is maybe also the one that I love. Because I think, like the team event right now, when it's only time attack, drive as fast as you can, chasing world records, that's not really my thing. So I don't really enjoy the current event. I like when it's more, I wouldn't say skill, because it's driving extremely fast on one track. Of course, that's skill as well. But I think multi-jump and wheelie and stay on the ground and stuff like that, it's skill in a different way. You need to have a little bit more finesse to it. And I think I kind of love the wheelie and the multi-jump, but it's also the tracks that gives me the most frustration when you can't pull it off.
Yes.
And so I think, and also that I think especially for the wheelie and the multi-jump, I think that is also where the point system is the most, in my opinion, unfair. Because you can be an extremely good multi-jumper and get 15k on one track and then not be as good on the rest, but still be on top. Or when, let's say, when we in North face another top team and they have like 10 players that can really multi-jump or really wheelie with the scooter, then it's kind of, the game is already over. Because it's those points weigh too heavy. Let's say for this track, for this team event, for example, you get, even if you have to improve so much to make a difference in the score sheet. But I think multi-jump and wheelie is my favorite kind of modes, because when you really pull it off, it's, in my opinion, that's nothing better than get a really good multi-jump or really good wheelie.
It's
So
a good feeling.
I think that is kind of what I like the most. And of course, I really love when you kick the ball as far as you can, because it makes no sense and everyone gets so frustrated by it, and you get so good discussions in the servers that how much everyone just hates it and wants to break the phone. So that's kind of, I love it. More kicking ball events. It's because I
no more ball kicking events.
I can have the worst time playing the game as long as I know that someone else is having it much worse. Then I can enjoy it. Yes.
Well, you'd be happy to know that my total score on this new team event was only 15,000, and it's a 5-track event.
You mean, how much score did you say?
15,000.
15,000, yeah.
Yeah, so not very much at all. For a 5-track event, I should be getting 30-something.
Misery loves company.
Mm.
Yeah, I tried it last night when I had a quick run. I think I ended up with 26.
There you go.
But I just I practiced the tracks a little bit to just find a good car. I got stuck with T1 with the electrical car, and how to brake with the first little hill down to get the boost up early and stuff like that. But I can't make that second big jump into the cave, or so to say, where the fuel canister are. I can't make that long jump. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was trying the Kanga Jeep on that one, but I think I'll be changing to the CCEV.
Yeah,
I'm using the Super Diesel on that with thrusters and landing boosts and jump shocks.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's so many vehicle combinations to use.
Yeah. I thrust over and actually land on the fuel as I come down that landing.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and I've done like 5K on that one, but then screw the rest of them up. So yeah, I think I'm in the low 20s at the moment. All right, my question is, firstly, I wanted to mention Ghost, because he asked how many teams you played on. If you can remember, can you name a few? And you've already done that, so I just wanted to mention Ghost. I haven't forgotten your question; it's already been answered. So I was going to ask a couple of questions from Cap A. He's got 4 or 5, and some of it you've already gone through. He asked about a big merge, and we've already discussed that. You've kind of answered why you play the game already. He's asked two questions that I think would be interesting to hear. If you could change one thing in the game, what would it be?
I think for just to try to be a good friend to Nilox in North, I think get rid of the invisible walls once and for all. And also when you let's say, for example, when you have that kind of city track 2 kilometers long with the tractor, and how this, what do you call it? The scoop?
The scoop. Yeah, the scoop.
Yeah.
Yes.
How it always gets stuck in the ground when you have when you gain some speed, and it just annoys me that get rid of the invisible walls. That it just happens for coincidence. It would be understandable if there was parts that you knew that if you land here or do this, then you're gonna hit the invisible wall, and there can be a rock or something in the ground. But if you just get it, then I don't buy it, because that can change so much in the team score if you keep on getting this invisible wall. So I think try to get rid of those, and then I think that's the biggest part that I can know of.
And then his second part to the question is, what is your favorite vehicle?
Oh, that's a tough one, because since I don't play that much time attack, or I don't have some kind of favorite vehicle, I kind of run with more or less all of them. If I'm very bored and I start to do the cups, the trophy road, I kind of use the beast, because then you face easier opponents because you don't want to. Yeah. So I try to run with more or less all of them, so I don't get favorite one. I think I'm one of the few who doesn't like the super diesel, because it's just too wobbly. The super diesel and the monster truck, I don't like those vehicles, but I know a lot of people like those. So I kind of like the first one, the small one, Hill Climber. That one is a kangaroo. I kind of like that one. I think that's my favorite if I have to choose one.
Okay.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you like the Kanga vehicles, but you don't like the Kanga vehicles.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I see what you did there, Pete. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, JR, do you want to start Never Have I Ever?
Yes, I think we should move on to the quiz. This is our quiz for all the podcast guests, and it's named Never Have I Ever HillClimb Racing 2 Edition. 1 point for each one that you have never done before. Okay? So here is the first question. Have you ever missed a team event?
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever hated a public event?
Hated.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Have you picked an easier map for the boss level?
Yes.
Yes. Have you scrapped legendary parts before access?
Yes.
Okay.
Doing really well here.
There you are.
Okay. Mhm. Have you used up all special tickets on a single run?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. Have you ever had a perfect 40K score when it was
No,
bad?
but I'm very, very close.
oh, how
How
close?
close?
How
Mm.
close?
Yeah.
I think it was like 300 away. I think it was one event maybe 1.5 years ago when I think 5 or 6 or 7 players in North got the perfect score. And I just couldn't manage it. It was so close, but I never pulled it off.
I think
You
I
know,
remember
Remember?
that event.
I'll,
Because there
I'll
was a
give you
lot
a
of people
point.
getting so close.
Oh,
I'll give you a 0.75 for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
a fraction of a okay.
Yeah.
Actually, what
Okay.
I'll do, I'll give
Mhm.
you reckon you were 300 away, right? So 37,
Yeah.
39, 700 divided by 40,000. How's that?
Yeah. It works.
That's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I'm happy with whatever I get. Same at the couch.
All right, no problem.
Okay, so next question is, have you ever fallen asleep while grinding adventure maps?
No.
No. Okay. Have you ever taken a long break from playing HCR2?
Yes.
Oh, how long?
I think it was a couple of months.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yes.
And have you ever rage quit at some point in time?
If I have ever raged quit.
Yes.
Or,
Like
yeah, many
quitting
times.
many times. Okay.
Yes.
Have you
Yes.
have
Every
you
day.
ever every day? Oh, have you ever kicked a team member by accident?
No. But
No.
but there is a fun story. I'm not sure if I get it 100% correct, but I know that they were supposed to kick me from Swedish Power or Sweden HR at one point. We made a fun thing out of it.
Mhm.
And then the leader at that time, his name was Papa Shark, he renamed himself to Alice for some reason. We don't know why. And then Wallin kicked him instead for some. They kicked the wrong Alice. That
Hang
so I
on,
had to
was
stay
he
out of
the leader or just a co-leader?
No, I think he used to be the leader, but he stepped down to be a co-leader. And
Oh.
Wallin took the leader position and was supposed to kick me just for fun. And then he kicked
Oh
the
my.
former leader by accident. But I don't know the full story. Maybe Janne knows
How
what
did he
happened
react?
there.
How did he react to it when
No, he was just, of course, it's those two guys. Of course, this would happen. We had a brilliant idea. Of course, they're gonna screw it up.
That's a funny story. That's a funny story. Okay. Going back to the quiz, have you ever banned anyone from the team server?
No, I don't think I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last question is, have you ever done a face reveal on any Discord server? Not including this
Yeah.
server.
All of them.
All of
Yeah.
That was fun. Okay. Eva, how did he score?
Well, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. You are, because of your never having a perfect 40k score, and you're almost there. I've given you 0.0075 of a score for that, right? So 0.0075 because that's the fraction of 39.7 over 40,000. So your total score for this match was 3.0075.
So you're our new leader.
No, he's
Yeah.
just not the new leader because everybody else got threes. You see,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
He's
you
so
just.
close.
I reckon we give him equal winner. I think
Mhm.
we give him. Give him the title. Give him the.
The role.
You'll be able to have. Pete will do it for you. You'll have a new role in the
Shiny.
server.
Shiny new
All right.
role.
You'll have a new
So
role in the
I actually
server.
won something.
Well, that's
Yes,
the only thing you
in a
won.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm happy.
yeah, in a way, because you actually don't win anything for winning this game at all. It's just our laughs and giggles and some
Yeah.
fun and some fun. So now we haven't asked the most important question. What cheese do you like?
Cheese.
Yes.
How did we
Oh.
miss that?
There's so many good. I would say blue cheese.
Blue cheese. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Well, look, we've been at it almost 2 hours, and it's been wonderful having you on. It's been a real laugh. I haven't laughed this hard in a recording in a long time, and I wanted to say thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's been an honor having you on. You sound like someone I'd love to meet one day and just have a beer with because I think you would be very interesting to be in front of. So
Yes. Agree.
Pete and JR, do you have any last words for Alice?
Yeah, I would like to say.
You go.
Okay. I go first.
You go.
Alice, maraming salamat sa pag-guest sa podcast. Sana nag-enjoy ka. We are grateful na naging bisita ka namin dito.
Yeah. Thank you as well.
Yes. Definitely.
I understand
Very
some of them.
grateful.
Salamat.
You understand some of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is basic
I know what you mean.
Filipino.
I
Yes.
understood the English words.
Yeah.
Well, okay, in English, just basically thanking him for being a guest, and I hope he enjoyed, and we are grateful that he was part of the podcast.
Yes.
So you, Pete?
Yes. Also, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for sharing your videos with us. That was very entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Very
It's been
entertaining.
amazing. Yeah. I hope you enjoy it, and it's been amazing to be on the podcast. It was really fun to just talk around the game and my life and my way to get where I am. So no, it's been amazing. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Not
And
a
before we
problem.
go, are there any people that you'd like to say a shout out to or say thank you to?
I would say Mr. Beefeater in North. He's kind of a very honest guy, strict guy with a sense of humor. He's helped a lot over the years.
Yep.
That's good.
Oh,
Yes.
that's nice. That's nice.
Nobody else?
No, the other ones doesn't deserve it. I have to work on it.
And that's
I thought
that's
for
why.
sure you were going to say SP Jean, but no, that's fine. He doesn't deserve
No,
it.
it's good.
Can I just
course,
request
Jan.
something? If you could say something in Swedish to all the listeners.
Tack så jättemycket för att jag fick vara med på er podcast. Och det ska bli jättekul att höra hur det blir sen när jag sitter i bilen. That was it.
All right. Just want to make sure that was definitely under 18 plus.
No, thank you very much for having me on the show, and I will listen to it in the car when I drive.
Excellent.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that.
And now,
Of course, jag pratar inte svenska.
Me either.
now we were going to announce something special. So we've used this episode to do this. We have been calling this show Season 1 for 35 episodes. So the next episode we record will be the start of Season 2. I don't know why we stopped at 35 for Season 1. It's got no relevance to anything else.
Except
but we
for
thought
maybe the third birthday of AUSNZ. It might have had
yeah,
something to
the
do
third
with
birthday of AUSNZ, that's something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Amongst ourselves, the hosts, what we wanted to change. So we're thinking of having some little changes. We're still going to have guests. We're still going to have our little segments. But what happens next? Watch this space. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be something that we can all have some fun with. And I think JR
We might bring in a third. I think we might bring in a third host.
Yeah, third host. Yeah. JR's been doing amazing. Yep. And sorry. And the other thing was, I think JR wants to possibly revise the quiz.
Yeah.
So, Alice, you may have been the last person to do that quiz.
And I won.
So, and you were on the leaderboard. So, you can tout that amongst your friends. So yes. In wrapping up, I just wanted to say a big thanks again to Alice, a big thanks to Jean for suggesting him. I wanted to say thanks to Pete and JR for, as always, doing all the background stuff, getting all the stuff prepped. It's been great working with you guys. I want to say thank you to all the listeners. It's been amazing to have the comments on YouTube, giving us some feedback on what you guys love. Yeah, thanks for everything. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the podcast.
And see you all next season.
Bye, everybody.